vying for the position of National Public Relations Officer. We can choose to be affected by the world, or we can choose to stand up and affect the world. The National Secondary Students Council has definitely come a far way with regards to the promotion of this organization, and that I must commend. However, it is my strong belief that there's always room for improvement, as a good work of art, a great work of art rather, is never complete, and my work here is far from over. We have not yet maximized on our brand as the primary driving force alongside secondary students of Jamaica, representing them, ensuring that they are treated fairly and that their school lives are made as comfortable as possible. All students should want to know who we are and what we do. The truth is, we haven't quite reached there yet. We need to continue to execute creativity along with consistency. This will not only encourage them, but urge them to work with us in representing and advocating for them. Serving in the capacity of PRO for a second term would bring this organization immensely closer to that goal, as continuity is crucial. Last year, we were a spark. The match was definitely lit. We became the flame that will keep on burning for students, their rights, protection, safety, education, and so much more. Now, it's time to make an explosion. It's time to shake up our island, shake up our region. Who's more suitable to carry this out than me, Ree-Anna Robinson, current National Public Relations Officer of the NSSC, second Vice President of the Immaculate Conception High School Students' Council, current Youth Parliamentarian for St. Catherine Eastern, 2019 to 2020, just to name a few of my roles. During my tenure, if elected, I plan to introduce a three-pronged plan, guided by the acronym ACT ACT. A for action. There are various aspects within our mission as an organization where we have fallen short. It's not enough to want to see the change. We must act on these areas. During my tenure, I recognized a need for more training for local council executives before they start working in their respective capacities. With the surge of COVID-19 across the world, a certified virtual capacity training course is a perfect solution. This would take place at the very end of the local council election period. This course is specifically geared towards tips and tools for boardroom etiquette, meeting etiquette, the tier and channel of advocacy, and a thorough outline of our toolkit. Revamping and maximizing on our Twitter platform. Twitter is a space we are yet to take full advantage of. It is a space for free discussion and for driving action along with raising awareness that can be used to amplify our voices and our advocacy efforts. Using Twitter in the most beneficial way will create a whole new look on how advocacy can be done effectively and how students communicate their issues with us. Monthly regional meetings is another. This would improve on the rift in communication among the local councils and the national council, as well as strengthen our relationships. Continuity, continuity. To effect greater change with regards to the promotion and activities and our advocacy efforts, we must continue to develop and add on to what has already boosted the efficiency of our organization. It's not about creating new ideas at this point. It's about progressing and taking it up a notch. Monetizing our YouTube channel by using that platform to share our information in more meaningful and relatable ways through media mentorship, where we will share study content with students, frequent TED Talks, empowerment sessions, as well as sharing our Schoolers Voice Vox Pops, rather than just for candidate manifestos once a year. Teen Talks live on Instagram and Twitter. This has been a plan for a while now, and it is a perfect time to materialize and act on this. These sessions are a safe space geared towards speaking on hot topics that will be chosen by you, the students, for discussion and advice. Chit Chat Zoom sessions, we started that this year as a mental health discussion. However, I do believe that we can widen our horizon to now discuss more life topics from a professional's point of view. This will be very beneficial to our constituents, as not every student has access to certain information from professionals, at school or within their household. Finally, teamwork through partnerships. Partnerships are undeniably an important aspect of an organization of this nature, and continuing to engage in more meaningful partnerships is definitely the direction we should be heading in. This will aid in youth mainstreaming, as we would play a positive part in what these donors and organizations are working towards, and that is youth mainstreaming. That's what youth mainstreaming is all about. Intentional youth involvement at every level that will aid in the positive development of the NSSC, and by extension, the positive development of our country. One major project that will be undertaken through partnerships is an all-island laptop and tablet drive. This will aid in assist in easing the effects of the digital divide on secondary students that COVID has drastically highlighted. In a world full of players, the only way to reach your maximum potential is to set yourself apart and change the game as we know it. Level up this game. Let's turn up the advocacy. Let's act in the realest way. Vote Ree-Anna Robinson for your Public Relations Officer of the NSSC. Take 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Okay, we'll now commence your Q&A session. Just to remind you, you'll be asked a total of 5 questions. You'll have the maximum of 30 seconds to answer each question. First question. And this is a general question. Identify one child right and discuss why this right is so important. You may choose to contextualize that within your capacity as the capacity that you're vying for of National Public Relations Officer, or you may comment on it in a general way.
Okay, so one child right that I really appreciate is the right of meaningful participation, meaningful youth participation in national and political affairs and issues. I believe that this is very important because without the youth voice, you'll be completely out of touch with the new generation, the future of your country, right? And with the inclusion of this voice, you will now bring on how we feel about these issues that we're facing that are affecting us just as much as everyone else. So it is very important that we are given that right to participate in these affairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. How do you plan to improve the operations of the NSSC in order to ensure that there is more involvement of all schools, especially schools that are currently disenfranchised, or let me rather use the term, schools that are not so connected to the organization?
Okay, thank you. So with the surge of COVID, we know that virtual meetings have now been normalized. However, as you mentioned, unfortunately, there are some schools that are disenfranchised. As I mentioned earlier in my manifesto, I do plan to have an all-island laptop and tablet drive, which will assist in the ease of this digital divide. With that being said, I do plan to continue to maximize on the various algorithms of the various social media platforms. As I mentioned, Twitter has not been taken full advantage of as yet, and we plan to definitely take advantage of Twitter. Twitter is not just a platform for raising awareness, it's a platform for driving action. We have over 200,000 constituents, and across all of our platforms, we don't even have 50% of that being engaged, of those students being engaged with us. So to increase the communication, along with the tablet and laptop drive, which would now ease the digital divide with secondary students, we would now maximize on the various algorithms for those social platforms. So we're gonna maximize on the algorithm for Instagram, which is mainly to raise awareness, maximize on Facebook, maximize on Twitter, maximize on YouTube. That's how I plan to get it done.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Your third question. What do you think should be the NSSC's top priority for the next academic year?
Okay. Our top priority from a PRO's standpoint is definitely promotion, which I would have been stressing all along. We are the primary driving force alongside these students. And I believe, as I mentioned earlier, that we have over 200,000 constituents and we are not engaged with them. We are not engaged, not even 50% of them within our social platforms. We need to build on that. we definitely need to improve on the promotion of our organization, because we do amazing things. We make sure that these students are represented well. We make sure that they have a comfortable life at school. So definitely promotion is one thing that we definitely need to pay attention to this year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Your fourth question. Why is equilibrium between rights and responsibilities important in student development?
Okay, it is very important, because along with the rights come responsibilities. How is it that we can have rights but not know the responsibilities that we have to now uphold on those rights? It is extremely important. An example of this is where we have the right to protection. We have the right to not be locked out of school because we have a right to education. However, when you get these rights and you get this education, how is it that you're now going to uphold this? By attending your classes on time, by attending school on time, by doing the work, by respecting your teachers. So rights walk hand in hand with responsibilities. Thank you.
All right, your final question. Briefly relay a situation where your time management skills were put to the test and outline how you were able to overcome that situation.
Okay, thank you. Well, a situation where my time management skills have been put to the test would definitely be within this CXC period. As you know, the NSSC would have been advocating for many things throughout this period with regards to CXC. There were nights when I had to be in my classes because I have some teachers that would have had classes within the evening because they're extra classes. So I would now have to prioritize and say, okay, I have to be at this class at this time, but at the same time, I have to be liaising with my peers from the NSSC when there are meetings with other stakeholders for us to advocate successfully and effectively on their behalf with regards to CXC. I had to be staying up late, writing press releases, making sure that they're out the next day and sent out to various media houses, while I had to be tackling my schoolwork and studying for exams at the same time. How I overcame this? I definitely, as I said earlier, I had to prioritize, and I had to ensure that I got my work done along with getting the work of the NSSC done, and timetabling really assisted me in that.
Okay, thank you so much for all your answers, Ms. Robinson, and all the best with the results of the election. Thank you.
Thank